So what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to JB Reviews. So today I'm going to okay, so the purpose of this video, so if you don't know, we sold our house in 2019. We moved into our RV with the goal of building a new house. Well, that didn't happen. I mean, 2020 has been such a normal year for everyone else, so I figured we could just kind of change things up a little bit. And so we decided to go full-time in our RV indefinitely. And so we traveled to a lot of different states, so here's some footage of that trip. Enjoy. Well guys, we have been in Indiana for almost 6 weeks, and today we are pretty much gonna have to pack up and go to our next destination. Now, I don't think we're gonna go back to Maryland quite yet. I think we're gonna do some sightseeing before we head back, but I gotta get this bad boy ready for travel. We're actually gonna go stay at a park so we can dump down the tanks and just check everything. I gotta do a lot of stuff. I did put air in the tires yesterday and I put a few things up, but I got a lot to do, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, as you guys can see, what we have to do is we have to pull in these two slides. We have to lock in the television. Now, we cannot find the straps for our new table in our benches. I'm actually going to bolt these down. Remind me to do that when we get to our next destination, so we don't have to worry about that. But this table is a little bit of a concern. So are these chairs. So we do find them. I am going to lock these down. But as far as Owen's room goes, we just throw everything on top of the slide. This slide's going to come in. We did have some things up here that were hung. This is where we hang our fruit, and we just put things away. So just walking up this way, we have a slide up here in our bedroom on this side that's going to come in, as you guys can see. And inside of here, there's not much to do. Are you going to take the stuff and put it in the sink before we go? Cool. So all the stuff in here has to go somewhere because it will fall. And then this television has to be locked in, and my wife already has the closets locked in, so she normally does it inside. I do the outside, but everything is so far so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start breaking down baby outside. Hope you guys can see this. Here it is. Where you can retract all, but we're going to retract the rear.
Well guys, this is uncut. We are driving through a neighborhood and Justin had to climb on top of the camper because we couldn't clear a electric wire. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. Is this the way we came in? We gotta take it right. We gotta take it right.
Yes. The people of Indiana are so kind. Some neighbors came out and gave us a piece of wood to try to lift up the telephone wire and the power line out of our way. And Justin hopped on top, put it over our vent.
I think we'll be able to see it. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, and there's a car that's coming.
Gosh.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I really screwed up.
And there's a car coming. That's all right. You know what? Maybe he can he back up?
He can make it.
Okay. And now there's a car trying to come through as we make this turn.
Worst decision ever. Whatever you guys do not go down a road that you do not understand. This is the second time we've done this on this trip. And when you have a big 40-foot fifth wheel with a short bed, it's just anxiety times 17.
We have a short bed? I thought we have a long bed.
Oh, we just have a long truck.
Oh, wow.
Here.
You know what? They can't get by.
They can't.
Oh. And here's another car trying to get by us. I don't know if you can see him.
Where?
Go, go, go.
Here, let me just see what
There's a car right there trying to get by. And we're in their way, in their neighborhood.
I'd rather them back up than me, though.
Yep, go ahead. And these good people are going to try to, they're backing up so we can come through. Thank you. What? You're fine. You are fine. Take your time. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, guys, when you're towing, you just got to be careful going down roads that you don't know.
Yeah, it sucks.
A lady told us, oh, there's a turnaround so you can make a U-turn. But see, people, and she was sweet, but people don't account that your height is, 13, 14 feet, and there's low-hanging power lines. And so now we're going to try to get into this campground. It's pretty narrow. It's right here. You can take a wide turn in there, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we're going.
Wow.
Wow. That's a big farm.
So, a tip from us that you're going to learn is if you cannot see a website or any kind of pictures online, I would probably skip over the campground, even if it's a really good price, because this is a campground here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but ain't nobody here, and I ain't staying here either.
Why is he dying?
So,
It takes
Justin accidentally left his cell phone on the roof when he went up to move those power lines when we were driving through the neighborhood. Lost. Also, the campground we were supposed to stay at didn't work out. They don't have water or dump, which are two essential things you need when you camp. Until next time.
Alright, so as you guys can see, that trip started off on the wrong foot, for sure. So I literally was not paying attention. The campground was to my left. I said, is that the campground? Hannah's like, I think that's the campground. I said, nah, that can't be the campground. It was a campground. So I decided to go down looked to be a one-way street. And it was down into a neighborhood. The roads were very narrow. And there was low-hanging branches. The power lines were low. Such a bad day. I mean, I left my phone on the roof. Oh, such a bad trip to start off with. But it got better from there. And we did find another RV park too. The next footage you're going to see is of us pretty much heading home from Florida. So we left Florida that morning. We stopped in South Carolina to see my parents. And now we're somewhere between North Carolina at the very tip and at the very beginning of Virginia off of 95. And take a look. So what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We are on our way home. As you guys know, we have been out of town in Indiana. We've actually hit 12 states since we've left. We went to Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. We're about to cross over into Virginia, but this has been a very eventful trip. Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama. I already said Alabama. But anyways, we have the big boy behind us, and we're getting diesel. This truck has been getting like 9.2 mpg. Could I go 80 miles an hour? And I tried it at a few different speeds, and the best I've been able to get is like 11, and I just can't drive 65, 670 the entire trip. It's just, I start getting fatigued, so I have to go 80. So 80 miles an hour is where you got to go. Just make sure you check the pressure on your tires, make sure that you got the right speed limit on your trailer tire. Take a look at this front cap. I've cleaned this thing like 3 times on this trip. I will say, make sure you take these bugs off, because when we left Indiana and got to Tennessee, I didn't take the bugs off right away, and it took me like an hour just to clean off the bugs because they would not come off. But you know, I will say gas, diesel has been really cheap. This is the most expensive I've seen it so far, $269. This truck and trailer has been so good on this trip. I mean, I've had no problems. One thing I wanted to kind of point out to you guys, because I know a lot of people talk about this, is these cheap RV tires. I've had really good luck with these tires. These are the Trailer King RSTs. These are really good tires. One thing that I'm having an issue with on the RV, unfortunately, is the battery. I have to probably buy a new battery, guys. But I was pulling this slide out. If you are looking for an RV, in order for us to get to our kitchen, you have to pull the slide out, and the battery's starting to die. And what's really weird is I keep my battery topped off with distilled water, and it stays pretty much charged because it's always hooked up to power. And for some weird reason, the battery is just done. I mean, it's a cheap battery. I'm probably gonna do some research. I might go for a dual battery setup, and it would be nice to be able to have a lot of juice so we can kind of run this thing, because we're gonna sleep in this thing tonight. We're not gonna go to any RV parks, and I want to be able to have as much power to just run our fans and just be able to use the water pump. So just keep these things in mind. So once we get home, I'm gonna replace that. But other than that, guys, this has been a really good trip. We did hit some hail on the way. Take a look.
I know. It's destroying Daddy's truck. Well, I wish I could find a bridge. There's a bridge right here. You gotta go in there.
We're on 95, trying to get back to Maryland, and we're in South Carolina, and it started hailing.
Oh wow, look at that car.
We're just praying, hoping to find safe passage.
Is there gas station?
Yeah. You want to go there? Marathon. Campground too.
Wow.
Ton of hail everywhere. I'm gonna shut this off.
We are gonna go ahead and head on the road. Actually, we're not gonna head on the road. We're gonna probably call it a night, because we still have like 3 or 4 more hours to go, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. It's probably 12 now, but we're gonna go ahead and figure out what we're gonna do, and then I will see you guys in a second. Good morning, YouTube. It is the next day, and we stayed at a Cracker Barrel parking lot. There's actually a few RVs here last night. I guess people were just kind of doing the same thing we're doing, either heading somewhere for Memorial Day or heading home. So we are going to go ahead and finish off the last 4 hours of this trip. It's back to Maryland, and we'll see you in a second. And so, guys, that was pretty much it. So this was a pretty cool trip. This is the first time we had actually traveling this much. I didn't say that at the beginning, but we traveled 5,000 miles just towing, not traveling unloaded, just towing. I looked at my odometer on my truck, and it said 5,014 miles, I think, when we got home. So yeah, it was a really cool trip. So we wanted to leave you with 3 things that we learned on this trip, and here's number 1: plan, plan, plan. Here's what I mean by that: you never know what you're going to expect when you get to a campground. Sometimes you'll get there and it's the greatest thing ever, and in our case, we got there and there was nothing there. There was no one there, and the lady that Hannah talked to on the phone made it seem like they were in business. But when we got there,
No one was at the front office. There was a huge dog
Yes.
that was not on a leash.
Yes. Yeah, it was like what kind of, was it a Rottweiler? I don't know. It was a big dog. Like, it looked like it was on steroids. And so we got there like, yeah, we're not staying here. And they didn't have any hookup. So because it was COVID too, because this was back around that time, the next campground was down the street, but they were not accepting anyone out of the state. So we had to travel an hour and 20 minutes out of our way just to go to another campground. So it really kind of threw a curveball at us, which leads us into our next point.
Be flexible. There will be things that happen along the trip that you could not have planned for. For example, when we drove underneath the power line, we couldn't have planned for that. You just have to go with the flow and be willing to take a deep breath, take a step back, take a walk if necessary, and just stop and think. You have a lot of responsibility towing, especially if you're full-time like us. Our entire lives, all of what we own is behind us. And so you really don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to drive under pressure, under stress. Be flexible.
And just to Hannah's point, going down the wrong road cost us about 45 minutes to an hour of our trip, which is daylight too while you're driving.
And you don't want to be caught driving back country roads late at night and trying to hook up at night too.
Yeah, and trying to back up a trailer with drunk people trying to help you.
That was in Tennessee.
That was in Tennessee, yes it was.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yes.
Don't sweat the small stuff. You and your spouse will argue from time to time.
Yes, you will.
Your kids will have 1,000 questions from time to time. You guys will get tired. Bathroom stops will quadruple at times.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
I'm hungry. I need the bathroom.
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that note, guys, thank you so much for a 2020 year. Although it was a weird one, I'm kind of happy it happened because, hey, it kind of drew us a little bit closer together, and we are in a tiny place. So I hope that you guys enjoy your 2021. And I think Hannah and I might be starting another channel. So this is going to give us a little bit of pressure to do it. See you in the next video.
Happy.
Cut!